if the Celtics can take care of business on Friday night. And Cerrone Battle joining us here, as he always does, on Celtics Postgame. And, tonight, the assist of the game presented by Granite City Electric's GCE Night Train. Electrical contractors get the assist from the GCE Night Train and order your materials to be delivered overnight to the job site the following morning and save time and money. Go to gcenighttrain.com to order. Cerrone, wow, what a second half, I should say, right? I mean, they held on. They took a punch early, right? They stayed into the halftime. They looked like the best team we've seen all year in the third quarter, and then they looked like that team that can't hit a shot that gives up a 21-point lead. But when it mattered, Luka Doncic fouled out of the game, and in crunch time, this team put it away. So they held off the rally. They won in clutch time, and what a game. I mean, holding off that team on the road tonight, although blowing the lead, tip my cap.
Look, man, that's a crazy game. The way they turned it up, I mean, they didn't do anything different in the second half. They just started making those shots we've been saying. They're going to fall. They're going to fall. You saw Mazzulla in a lot of the timeouts. Just keep playing. Those same shots are going to fall. Third quarter, they fell. They started feeling good. Tillman hits that three. But I think what got them going was Pritchard, Hauser, and Tillman's defense up top on Kyrie and Luka in that third quarter. The effort from those guys energized the starters. They started hitting their shots. And it took a huge run from Dallas late to get back in it. But at the end of the day, it still wasn't enough. Dallas did everything right for their superstars. Huge fourth quarter, huge first half, great start, and they lost. I mean, that's a huge win for the Celtics team. A tough win. They did everything you asked from this team all season. Can they close out when things get tight? They did against the best closing team in the league. There's not much you can say about this team other than, man, this is crazy. That was a championship effort by the Celtics in the second half of that game tonight.
The story, again, going into this tonight was Kristaps Porzingis, who missed the game. He wanted to play, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. The medical staff said no. He was on the bench tonight. I'm going to tell you, Cerrone, I didn't even think about him in tonight's game.
Same here. Now that you say it, I didn't either. I mean, it wasn't a moment where I said, "Dag, they needed Porzingis on that play." I never felt that way at all. I didn't even think about it until you just said that. I mean, defensively, he might have helped on some of those drives from Kyrie, but I thought the Celtics did a good job cutting off Luka and Kyrie the closer they got to the basket. They made some tough shots all night, but they struggled at stretches to get those floaters and easier shots inside the paint against the Celtics defense who didn't have Porzingis. So I don't think there was a moment. I don't think there's anything where they would have needed him. Maybe in the fourth quarter for some post play, but other than that, no, I don't think they really missed him.
So the Mavericks came out of the gate, right? I think we somewhat expected this. You're coming back home. They went out to that 25-12 lead. I think it was 6 minutes into the game. Kyrie Irving and Luka, of course, were the story, and Kyrie the story early on. But the Celtics fought back, right? They won an 18-6 run of their own, led by Jayson Tatum, who had 13 first-quarter points. You mentioned Hauser. He went 3 for 3 from three-point range in the first half. The offense did slow down. The game slowed down in that second quarter, 51-50 at halftime. But, we talked about the Celtics shooting 25% in game 2, and the Mavericks just couldn't take it. Tonight, the Celtics got punched in the mouth and hung around. And then again, that third quarter to me, I can't believe. I haven't seen them play like that in so long. But, man, the Celtics took command of the game in that third quarter. They won a 33-11 run. And then the Mavs fought back, obviously. The Luka Doncic foul, let me get your thoughts on that. He fouled out of the game. They reviewed it. That was, I thought, the turning point in the game there for the Celtics, for that matter. But, is that what you would say is the turning point in the game?
You know what? They gave him that mainly because I don't know if you remember the play. There was a chance the Celtics got a steal or something. They threw it ahead to Jaylen Brown, and he had Tatum, who would have been open for a dunk on a fast break. Luka with the clear pass interference just takes out Jaylen Brown's legs, and they call nothing. Both teams just stopped and looked around. That would have fouled Luka out, and they didn't call anything. A couple plays later, they get that call on him. You know, he was flopping and flailing a lot in the fourth quarter, crying to the refs a lot. They show restraint by not teeing him up. But I think it was a turning point, but he didn't have to do that. It was a flop. He turned sideways his feet wasn't set, and he kind of blew it. And I think the team, they slumped their shoulders after that. They kind of lost momentum like that. I think we can't do it without it, even though I think they could have. It was a 4-point game. It was still a minute and a half, 2 minutes left. But they kind of, I wouldn't say gave in on that, but things got a little tough and weird for Dallas after that. But that was it. And what coincided with that was Tatum gets the post-up dunk on the inside. Jaylen Brown gets the free throw jumper. Derek White hits the three at the top of the key. They just got a bunch of plays in a row where they got rolling that went with him falling out that kind of killed the momentum for Dallas. And that was a great close by the Celtics team. The last 2 minutes of that game, they made the free throws. They did everything right. They even tried to foul at the end of the game, and the ref didn't want to call it. But they did everything right the last couple minutes of the game, as crazy as it looked in the middle of that quarter.
So I think you have been included. So you're guilty by association, Cerrone Scaz as well. I don't knight for Jayson Tatum. I just think everybody just is looking at the wrong things, right? Mm-hmm. But I can tell you tonight, he played outstanding basketball. He sat on the bench. The team went on a run. And then Jaylen Brown became Jaylen Brown. And I said this during the show tonight when we were off the air. We're all watching the game here together. And is it fair for me to say I don't want to say it's about time Jaylen Brown's playing like this. I don't want to say that because he's been so consistent. But, man, it's about time, right? Yeah. Did you see that dunk, the way he took over the game? He looked at the rim, went left with his left hand, and jammed it home. And I said, whoa, that's the guy everybody's always wanted him to be. And, man, in a big game tonight, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they won the game. So argue whoever you want about who's better. Both of them led them to victory up 3-0 in the series.
Yeah, without Tatum starting the first half, they're getting smoked. Tatum kept them in the game. He gave them the lead. Almost gave them the lead before the half. He had a 20-point first half. Tatum was awesome. Jaylen closed. But the biggest thing you mentioned when Tatum was on the bench, when they went on a run when he was out there, they came out and the run just exploded with Tillman and all those guys making plays. Tatum didn't pout and snatch his warm-up off and say, oh, let me get back in the game. He sat over there with the bench celebrating, holding guys back. After Jaylen Brown's dunk, he was 2 plays later, he's still holding guys back on the sidelines like you see a lot of role players do. He was over there living it up, celebrating for his teammates, and didn't say, Coach, let me get back in and get some. He didn't check himself back in. He let it ride. Now, you guys, you on the run. You do your thing. To me, that's growth. Again, it's maturity. I'm celebrating for my teammates because we all can taste it. And then when he came back in, they all had a little bounce to their step. The run kind of kept going into the third quarter. And then I think they went away from the paint too much. All of them did. Brown lost it a couple times trying to spin at the top. Tatum gets stripped, kind of spin at the top. They weren't in the lane, and I think that's where they got messy. They corrected themselves, started getting back to the basket. They ended up winning the game. But I think both of them played a huge role. One set the tone early, keeping them in the game. When Dallas threw their punches, Tatum punched back. At the end of the game, when they needed it most to separate, Jaylen Brown did his part. And they did what they had to do tonight. One started and one closed. And that's all you can ask for out of that duo.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tatum struggled in the fourth quarter, and it was a reason why Dallas got back in the game. Mm-hmm. If we want to be critical on the game, yeah. But I agree with you. If the way it's no different than when Porzingis, right, in game 1 went off, it propelled
set the tone.
It set the Tatum did the same thing, and just I do think though as they're up 3-0 now, I know I just kind of reiterated it, but Jaylen Brown is welcome, sir. Yeah. You've been climbing the ranks. You've been here. But now I think when you think of this finals, you're going to think of Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, the duo. Jaylen Brown, absolutely outstanding tonight. He closed the game. This is what people wanted, right? I feel like they want Tatum to be the guy, but it's okay if Brown's the guy too, right?
Yeah, when you got the matchup, you take over. You do your thing. Tatum had 31. He had 30, but I mean, they scored him at two different times. They never got in each other's way. Let me get something there. Your turn. And I think that was Dallas's problem all night. As good as Luka and Kyrie played with 27 and 31 or whatever it was you shoot. Okay, my turn. I shoot. Okay, you shoot. Okay, now I shoot. And you looked up, it was like, okay, they got 60 points, and they had 45 of the 60 at one point. It's like, you ain't going to win like that. And it kept going. You shoot. Okay, I shoot. It got so predictable that the Celtics were anticipating their moves, forcing turnovers, forcing bad shots, and that's how they got their run. Jayson and Jaylen, it was a compliment effort. They complimented each other. They never got in each other's way. It never was a back and forth. One would cut, one would get a layup. You saw when Brown got going, he hit the three in the corner and a couple other plays. It was JT that drove, kicked and found him, and he was celebrating before he even shot it because they was in such a groove together. Luka and Kyrie, as good as they were never in sync together.
Nope.
And that's why they lost that game.
Good call on that. They've never been in sync together. Tonight, Brown and Tatum certainly were. It's a good point there. Well, we're here all night, everybody. Till 1 a.m. We'll react to this one. Jayson Tatum has spoke. He usually takes forever to get to the podium. But he had some interesting comments. So we'll have that. We'll have some audio coming up here on the other side. Cerrone Battle is with us as well. Skaz. We got George here tonight, Christina, and we're taking your calls at 617-779-0985. I'm Joe Murray here on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network.
Fired up for the playoffs? Catch all the
Now, live on the set, and of course, what we said, Jayson Tatum, he talked about his overall game and what he's been trying to develop in this postseason run. There's been a lot of questions about, Jayson Tatum, your shooting percentages, not what they have been in the past. Your scoring, not what it's been in the past. So, Jayson, as I say this, as you're getting mic'd up and getting ready for this, I want you to think about this for a second, right? Kudos to you. We've talked to you for the last 4 or 5 years and watched your game develop. But tell us again how important the defensive end has been for you, making sure you get your teammates involved before you have a scoring night like you did in this Game 3 in the finals.
Yeah, I've talked about all the time. We've been to this point, and we know what it's like to lose. So just getting an opportunity to get back and having a mindset of everybody's going to do whatever it takes every single night for us to have a different outcome. And whether that's having a big scoring night, leading the team in rebounds or whatever, or guarding a big or a guard, whatever you gotta do. Everybody's just on the same page, and we having fun doing it.
Well, we're in Boston. Damn.
Chuck, they're cheering for Tatum.
I know, but there's a lot of noise from Boston down here right now.
They travel deep.
Hey, Jason, it's been interesting watching these foods on television for recently, talking about who's the better player and Jayson Tatum this, Jayson Tatum that. Did that frustrate you? Because it makes me mad, because the most important thing is actually to win the game. And we always say we don't listen to television, but we lie, we do.
No, for sure.
Has it been frustrating for you, like, yo, man, let's just win the championship?
Frustrating, I don't know. Have I heard it? Absolutely. Early in your career, you get all the points and the stats and the individual awards, and then they say you haven't won, and now you're in a position, to win a championship.
Now they say you're not putting up numbers.
You're not scoring enough.
Welcome to the media, brother.
For sure. But like you said, it really just comes down to I've been here before, and I know what it feels like to lose, and I never want to feel like that again. And just doing whatever it takes to win the finals.
Jayson, take me to just the first quarter, your mindset. It seemed like it was totally different. It was attack. It was downhill. No jumpers. Everything to the bucket.
Yeah. You guys know playing in the league, that first road game is tough, right? They're coming back home. They feel good in front of their fans. And as a competitor, my favorite game to play always is Game 3 in the playoffs. I love that first game and feeling like your back is against the wall in a hostile environment, and just wanting to set the tone for the rest of the guys that, we wasn't going down without a fight.
And Jayson, that first quarter, they came out, they kind of hit you guys early. You guys kind of weathered that storm, got back in the game, evened it up. And in that third quarter, I mean, you guys, it was as good as I've seen you guys play in a while, just defensively, holding to the 19 points, offensively, the ball moving around. Were there any adjustments at halftime as a team that you guys made, or anything you might have done to help with that blitz or that just incredible performance in the third?
Right. And we coming into the game that they was going to start off and come out swinging, and it was our job to take that first punch and respond with some punches of our own. And we just talked about halftime. Let's be the team that come out and punches first and knock them back on their heels and just keep going. And we did a hell of a job doing that.
One win away from winning your first championship. You were here 2 years ago, and you came up short. How did that motivate you to get back here and to be in this moment now?
Man, it's losing in the finals is the worst feeling.
It's awful.
Ever. And it's never a guarantee that you're going to get back. And last year we realized that we may have taken things for granted, let some series go longer than they should have and end up losing in the conference finals. And that was a wake-up call for us that, just because you have a good team, there's no guarantee you're going to get back to the finals. And really just honing in on this opportunity that we have and trying to make the most out of it.
When you talk about...
All right, that was Jayson Tatum. Wow. I love what he said. Confident, talked about, sacrificing and them still getting on him. And, Cerrone, I wanted to bring this up to you, man. I got vibes of Game 4 versus the Warriors tonight. If you remember that game, Celtics had the game. They had it. They let the Warriors come back and eventually take the lead. They folded. That was it. They were done.
Yeah.
I had that feeling tonight.
It did. The difference was, I hate to get on these guys, but you weren't relying on Grant Williams, Robert Williams, and Marcus Smart to kill the momentum of the Warriors and Steph Curry in the fourth quarter, like you were in 22. This time it was Derek White for 3 at the top of the key off a Holiday pass. Jaylen Brown, free throw jumper. Tatum, dunk. Free throws from Derek White. Free throws from Jayson Tatum. More guys were involved. More guys hitting shots. Al Horford rebounding. It was a big team effort because it was a better team. That's why they was able to close. You need talent to close games. It's not about coaching all the time, execution, whatever. Sometimes it's just a team with the most talent and the most skilled players out there that can make plays when other guys aren't getting it done. And as a team, they all made plays down the stretch in this game, kicked off by Jaylen Brown, who kind of set the tone in the second half. So great team effort. To fight off Luka and Kyrie like that in the fourth quarter after they went on a 24-2 run is incredible, and more power to them for pulling that out.
All right. Take a couple of calls. Oh, we have plenty of sound. We get Joe Mazzulla, who talked a little while ago. I know Luka Doncic spoke as well. One thing on the Doncic foul out, I call it the wrangle, the ref angle. I didn't think the officials would foul out Luka Doncic at home. Mm-hmm. I thought that Mark Davis, who loved to look at that camera tonight, I thought they were going to pull some shenanigans. But do you know what happened? He gave the money sign. I don't know if you saw that. I did. I look for that stuff. Trust me, I saw it. So I'm going to see if I can find it throughout but he gave the little money sign. And then he did mention the fouls. He said he didn't want to say anything, but 6 fouls in the NBA Finals. Come on, man. So he was not
happy. Should
have
been 9.
Yeah. There was, you know which one he got away with? It was early in the game. So a couple of things happened tonight. Joe Mazzulla, I'm telling you, they probably have to do like a 30 for 30 on like how in depth he was tonight. Mm-hmm. But I kept saying to Skaz, why is Jaylen Brown on Kyrie right now and not Drew? I just kept saying it. And what happened in the second, third quarter and Drew Holiday went on Kyrie Irving. And then when Kyrie went off again so it was just that he just played the right strategy all night long. I know a lot of people, like I'm already seeing it on the tweets. The Celtics were lucky. No. When you're the better team, this is what happens. When you're the better team, this is how you win.
No, that's not luck. I mean, Celtics, they allowed that run because they weren't getting in the paint, mainly because they weren't scoring. When you're not scoring, you're not setting up your defense. They weren't getting in the paint. After the timeout, the 24-2 run or whatever it was, you saw the effort to get to the paint. Jaylen Brown gets in the paint. He hits a 10-foot fadeaway in the paint. Jayson Tatum has Kyrie posted up on him. He gets it. The ball gets through, holds on to it, gets a two-handed dunk. Should have been an and one on that one. Then you get another play. Holiday gets pump fakes on the wide open 3, goes baseline, throws a left-handed overhead pass to Derek White. After getting into the paint, Holiday hits the open 3. Jaylen Brown gets in the paint for the dunk. All these plays, that's not luck. That's effort. Luck is you throw up a blind shot and it goes in or something crazy like that down the stretch. When it's play after play, execution after execution, that's not luck. That's playing basketball and weathering the storm and taking the team's best shot. It's the NBA. Everybody knows everyone goes on a run. The Celtics team throughout the years were losing these games. They weren't lucky that they lost. The better teams were winning. They were able to slow it down and say, oh, hold on, timeout. It's a 3-point game. Let's get this under control. And they did on the defensive end, and they made plays on the offensive end and made their free throws. They executed and won that game. And again, Joe, they kept Dallas under 100 points. Mm-hmm. Dallas went on a 24-2 run in the fourth quarter and still didn't reach 100 points. Kyrie and Luka took 28 shots each, scored 60-something points combined. They didn't reach 100 points. That's not luck. That's execution by the Celtics on both ends, and you have to give them credit for that.
25-0 this season when holding a team under 100 points. 7-0 on the road. They have not lost a game since May 9th. Joe Mazzulla at the podium. Let's hear from the coach.
Joe, Gary Wash from Boston Globe. 21-point lead. What happened after that, and what saved you? Like, what gave you the fortitude to make plays enough to hold on, obviously on the biggest stage?
Yeah, I mean, you were going to expect a run from them because they had a 19-point quarter, and so, just by the type of shots they take alone, you knew they were going to make some kind of run. Some of those came at the expense of our offense. I thought maybe, we missed a couple reads. They changed coverages and they changed matchups on like 3 or 4 straight possessions, and we missed the read to get the right shot. So I'd say probably 60% of the shots we took in that stretch, we got to get better, and 40% I was okay with. We just missed them. But our one-shot defense and our ability to get back to the game plan, they put a ton of pressure on your defensive game plan throughout, and you just got to stick with the discipline of it. So we were able to do that and make plays down the stretch.
Dave, second row on the left.
Joe, you guys were able to build a 15-point lead, headed into the fourth, and in that 19-point quarter you alluded to for the Mavs, Jalen and Jayson combined for 22. What was working for them that maybe wasn't necessarily there for them in the first half?
Nothing. Our first half points per shot was 1.23, and so I thought we were getting like really good looks, but they just weren't falling. And so you just got to stick with it over the course of the entire game. I thought in the third quarter we found the right spacing, we found the right frequency, and we made the right read 6 straight times, which got us those shots, and they were able to fall. And then that's where the second stretch of that fourth quarter, we missed some of those reads, and they were able to come back into the game. So just those guys' ability to know that what shots they're taking and continue to take the right ones over and over again.
John, back right.
Joe, John Corrales, Boston Sports Journal. You went with Xavier Tillman in this one, and he ended up as a +9 overall. What did you see from him? What made you go in that direction?
He played in the Western Conference for 3-4 years, and so he's played against the Mavs, and so he's had that experience. Memphis has used a similar game plan that we have, so he was used to that. And I thought, with that comfort level of playing against those guys for so long, he was going to be able to execute the things that we needed to execute. And so I thought he did a great job in our switching. He did a great job in our screening, getting to our spacing, and that's what we talk about with those guys, is regardless of who's in, who's out, I trust the next man up because of the work they put in and the staff that prepares them.
Jared on the right, third row.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. You used to get asked if you guys took too many threes for a long time, and it doesn't seem like that question gets asked too much anymore. You had double the number of threes they had for a lot of this game. They start to come back when they actually start taking them. How has your team been able to just stick with that, play through the misses? You're letting them attack your cross matches, and they're taking 2. How does that math play out in the end?
I think you got asked that question a lot just because it was new. Anytime you're developing a new philosophy or a new style, it just takes time for understanding and execution. And so I credit to the guys where we've decided how we're going to play, and we fight to do that. And but also just being flexible in that. So it's not, we don't want to just settle for those. I think our guys have done a good job fighting for the right shot based on what the defense is giving us. We were able to get some of those in the third quarter. So I think it says a lot about them. The guys understand the game. They understand why we do what we do, and they work to execute it as best as they can.
Jay, here in the second row.
What goes into weathering the storm when Kyrie and Luka come out as aggressive as they are, and they're firing on all cylinders in that first half?
Yeah.
What resilience goes into just kind of sticking with it and staying disciplined when they're going like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's first having an awareness as to how are they scoring, what are they doing. You got to ask yourself: are we executing the game plan? Are we giving the shots up that we're willing to give up? And so I think it was one of the quarters we had like 26 points of points that we can control, and so you got to fight like hell to take those away. Once you take those away, then you can either execute your game plan or work to adjust. And so I thought our guys did a great job of understanding the points that we could control, and they fought to take those away throughout the rest of the game.
Tim, all the way in the back.
All right, that was Coach Joe Mazzulla. We'll react to this coming up. Cerrone Battles joining us as well. The phone lines are loaded. You can join us on our YouTube stream as well. Just go to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, and you can join the chat as we're here until 1 a.m. tonight. We'll take your calls. We'll get Cerrone's thoughts as well. Skaz is here. George, Christina, everybody, as the Celtics are up 3-0. Looking for the sweep on Friday night. I'm Joe Murray here on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network.
the left hand, floated to the corner. Tillman, three, got it!
And the boys over there jumping around like kangaroos.
Xavier Tillman knocks down the three that puts the Celtics up by 13 with 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter of Game 3.
Oh, the Tillman three. Big moment in the game tonight. Celtics win 106-99 and now have a 3-0 lead at the NBA Finals in Game 4 on Friday night. A chance to sweep as the Celtics look to drop banner 18. And, of course, we'll we've already heard from Joe Mazzulla. We've heard from Jayson Tatum as well. We'll hear from Luka Doncic coming up in just a little bit. But, Cerrone, I keep thinking about just, how much the growth of this team, and I can't help but just look at Jaylen Brown. I'm looking at the MVP odds right now. He is now the favorite. He was about $5 behind Jayson Tatum to win the MVP. He's now minus 300. It's almost a lock at that kind of number. Maybe something will change in a Game 4, but man, these guys have needed each other. They just really have. One started, one finished. Jaylen Brown did some things that hasn't been done in the NBA Finals. Well, last 4 Eastern Conference Finals players with 38 and 8 in a game. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler. Jaylen Brown joins that group of 3. He started slow too, right? And just finished so strong.
Yeah, I mean, he got off to a start that would have dropped his MVP odds to 5th. If he would have kept going the way he started the game off. But when you have a teammate that has your back, no, I got you. They're playing me one way. They're playing me different. I'm going to attack them and get to the lane, get some dunks. Tatum had to step back threes going in the first half. Kept them in the game. Kept them in long enough for the other guys to get going. And once they started honing in on Tatum again, you saw Tatum with the kick out to Brown. He hits the corner 3. Next thing you know, the floodgates open. His confidence was up. He's driving to the basket. He was doing everything right, and he closed the game out. In that third quarter, fourth quarter, they both had their issues in the fourth quarter, turning the ball over, missing shots, going too much ISO. But at the right time, they got it together and they all closed collectively. But Jaylen Brown's second half was key to this game, and when they're both on, you see the difference. They went from the team is being even, looking even the whole time, but when they both got going, they were up 20-plus points. Just like in Game 1, when all of them were going, Celtics are up 29 points. That's the difference between them and Luka and Kyrie and Brown and Tatum. When they're both on, you can't stay in the game. You need them to go cold and be off for you to even hang around. And when they got going, it was too much for Dallas. On both ends, their defense was too much. His aggression is the reason that Luka fouled out, trying to keep up with him. And he just played a great game on both ends. Again, they both did. They all played good defense. But this is I was very hard. You know this, Joe. I was very hard on Jaylen Brown last season's playoffs because he was standing in the corner like a role player in fourth quarters and key games, just standing there, not taking shots in the second half. He did it over and over again. The Philly series, the Miami series. If they would have had this Jaylen Brown last year, they would have been in the finals against the Denver Nuggets. They would have been. This has been their third straight year in the finals.
I agree with you.
But if he got outplayed by Caleb Martin. If he outplays Caleb Martin last year, they're in the finals against Denver, and they had better success against Denver last year than they did this year. And who knows what we'd be saying about this Celtics team right now if he would have played this way last year in the postseason.
Can't say it enough, man. Welcome to superstardom, Jaylen Brown. He's always been a great player. He's always been an all-star. But now I'm watching a duo, right? People talk about great duos. We talk about Jamal Murray and Jokic a year ago, right? We talk about these awesome, Curry and Durant, right? Like these big names. Brown and Tatum are up there. Their performance tonight, clutch time, right? Starting, closing. I know the team gave up a 21-point lead. All those things happened. The front-running aspect didn't happen tonight unless you want to look at it in the fourth quarter, right? They got punched in the mouth. They responded. It was a complete game. It was a suspenseful game as well.
Yeah.
They closed it out. They got some help, as you mentioned, Hauser, other guys along the way. Al Horford really worked tonight. And they're one win away, man. And they're doing it together. And this is the way it was, I guess, the blueprint when these guys were together. To your point, though, just looking at Brown from last year, the embarrassment in the Game 7, getting the largest contract in NBA history, having the slam dunk contest right, the left hand. I saw him look at that rim and go left tonight and dunk, and I went, that's a changed man right there.
Yeah. What are they going to say about him now? I mean, what can you say? I mean, the $300 million looks like a bargain now. Any owner would pay $300 million to get a championship. It's looking like a real bargain, and it's going to look like that for the next few years when these other contracts kick in. And the reality is, and people don't want to own up to it, admit it, when you include defense in team basketball, this is the best duo in the NBA. It's the best duo. Jamal Murray, as good as he is, there's a reason he's never been an all-star. Never in his career. He does not play defense. Jokic, I think he's the best player in basketball. He does not play defense. When they needed them to be clutch against the Minnesota Timberwolves, a good defensive team, the Denver Nuggets went out there and struggled to reach 80 points in 3 of those games. 80. They won a championship, yes. And 4 of their 5 last series wins, 4 teams were play-in teams. The one time they beat a non-play-in team, it was the Phoenix Suns with KD and Booker, and Chris Paul was hurt. That's the only team they beat that was not a play-in team. But against good defenses, Murray didn't show up in that. Jokic struggled. Like I said, they were scoring 75 points or something like that. This Celtics duo defensively is better than any duo in the league. And offensively, as you've seen tonight, they both can go off for 30, 40, even 50 on any given night. They're the most complete duo in the NBA. And the fact that they're 75-20 or whatever it is for the season tells you how good and how dominant they are. And everybody said, even where's Draymond Green at? When he said the Celtics can't do what they did in the East because it's the Western Conference now. The West is so much tougher. They're having an easier time with the Dallas Mavericks than they did against the Cavs, the Miami Heat, and the Indiana Pacers. Okay? Those teams actually gave them games that it came down to final seconds. They are about to sweep the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference on the road, and that'll bring their record on the season to something like 28-6 or something like that against the West. You got to give this team credit. They're dominant, and that duo is as dominant as any duo in the league, and they're still young. They're very young. So you got to give them all kinds of credit for that.
All right, join us Friday night. We'll be back here on the network at 7:30. I'll be joined by Cerrone Battle, of course, and then we'll have Game 4 of the NBA Finals Friday night, pregame 8 o'clock, so we'll have an extended pregame 7:30 here on the network, and then we'll go postgame until 1 a.m. with Cerrone Battle as well. Our thanks to Matt Stenberg tonight, James Scaramuzzino, George Sepulveda, as well, and Christina Longo for all their help tonight. Come join us on 98.5 The Sports, of our flagship station of the Boston Celtics, as we'll take extended coverage until 1 a.m. and your phone calls with Cerrone Battle. Until then, we'll talk to everybody on Friday night beginning at 7:30. I'm Joe Murray here on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports of Celtics Radio Network.
This is Boston Celtics basketball.
Jaylen Brown, 3 in the air for the game. Got it! He got it! Tatum, right corner against Embiid. Tatum for a 50-piece of Game 7, 50 for Jayson Tatum.
The Celtics are brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks and presenting sponsor of the Celtics Radio Network. Please bet responsibly. Your New England Ford dealers: Apex Entertainment Center, Clinton Savings Bank, Catches Law, Revise Energy, Massachusetts Health Connector, Valvoline Instant Oil Change, Ticketmaster, Bosch Tools, Gulf Oil, VA New England, Granite City Electric GCE Nitrate, and by Cat's Eye Pest Control.
They come from 16 down and get a buzzer-beating fall away from Al Horford. Tatum spins, lays it up and in to beat the buzzer. The Celtics have won the ball game at the buzzer.
And by Town Fair Tire, Nissan, Massachusetts Energy Marketers Association, John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, Michelob Ultra, Mass Mutual, Cambridge Savings Bank, UMass Lowell, 110 Grill, East Coast Metal Roofing, your New England Honda dealers, Amica Insurance, and by DraftKings Sportsbook.
The Boston Celtics have fulfilled the prophecy that was demanded of them, and they are champions again of the Eastern Conference. And for the second time in 3 years, the Celtics do it on the road to earn a trip to the only two places they have ever called home, Boston and the NBA Finals.
Celtics basketball is a presentation of the 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, the road to Banner 18. This is the flagship station of the Boston Celtics.
The Boston Celtics swarm the floor.
WBCFM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Leslie Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
The Celtics are one win away from an NBA title after their 106-99 win in Dallas tonight. They got a great performance, 30-point performances, 31 from Jayson Tatum, 30 from Jaylen Brown. And they shot 37% from three, held Dallas to just 99 points. And I'm going to continue to say this, 25-0 when holding an opponent under 100 points on the season. Game 4 and a potential sweep is Friday night. And, of course, you can hear that right here on 98.5. The Sports Hub. Tom Brady Day. Plenty of people out there tonight over at Gillette Stadium. Jay-Z got it started. A bunch of Hall of Famers were there, Patriots Hall of Famers. And the Tom Brady number 12 was retired, and some other people there tonight, including Peyton Manning and Bill Belichick. Red Sox 8-6 winners over the Phillies tonight. John Rahm withdrew from the U.S. Open, and some sad news. Jerry West, longtime Laker, passed away earlier today. Headlines, they are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. Cerrone battles coming up next, along with your calls, as we're here until 1 a.m. on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's not just the games. It's the preseason, the postseason, the drafts, the trades, front office drama, the locker room banter, and you talking all about
blah,
it.
blah, 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 blah.
On Boston's home for sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Jaylen Brown, 13 points in the quarter. Switches to the left hand. Jaylen drives right down the middle. Flies over Green. Throws it down with the right hand and puts a signature punctuation mark on a dominant third quarter. All year long, the Celtics have been the same machine on the road. They come to your building, they sell it out, they show out, and it usually ends in a blowout.
All right, back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Cerrone battles here. I'm Joe Murray. Skaz, George, we got a crew here until 1 a.m., so let's talk it out, everybody. 31 points, Jayson Tatum, 30 for Jaylen Brown tonight. Anything else you want to get to, Cerrone, before we take calls?
Yeah, what are they going to say now, Joe? The path was easy. Wait till they play a team with some real stars that don't get hurt. It's been easier. They've had an easier run. And I honestly believe they're going to come out with that trophy sitting there. They're going to come out guns blazing in Game 4. Very similar to the Celtics when they got back home against the Lakers in that Game 6 in 08. The floodgates are going to open. I think the Mavericks have to look up and say, we got the Kyrie game. We had him and Luka going. We had a great fourth quarter, and we still lost. It's got to be deflating, and all it takes is one or two guys in that starting lineup to slump their shoulders and get ready to go on vacation, and it's going to be a snowball effect. So I see it's going to be real difficult for Dallas to do anything to get the strength to win that game on Friday night.
So just a couple of things, just to be fair. Dallas had multiple opportunities last game to take care of business. They didn't. Mm-hmm. Tonight, they came out super hot, and in the third quarter, they didn't even get out of it. They weren't ready to go. But I think it was more of the Celtics missing their shots. Mm-hmm. Although I thought Peyton Pritchard overall has been pretty good defensively. There was a little bit of a run tonight where he was out there, and again, that 21-point lead just evaporated, but it happened fast. So I think I need to watch it again because I don't know if it was him on the court or just they got hot. But yeah, there were some things the Celtics failed on. And I think that's the point of this series is that despite only shooting 25% in the last game, despite giving up a 21-point lead, Dallas still just couldn't do it enough. And I'll keep saying it, talent in the end wins, but clutch moments, and I just wanted to bring this up. Ben Rohrback, who we're going to have on our show tomorrow night here at 9 o'clock. He works over at Yahoo. The Celtics in clutch situations in the playoffs, they're 6-0. Their offensive rating's 127. Their defensive rating's 83.
Wow.
So, I mean, in clutch time, defense has been the answer, and I just like saying it, right? Under 100 points, 25-0.
Under 100 points, you're on the road in an NBA Finals game, the first road game. You only turn it over 9 times as a team. They protected the ball. They were just missing their shots. They got open looks. They went cold, wasn't getting back on defense. P.J. Washington kind of got going, him and Lively. I said when I was on early with Matt McCarthy, the key is you can't let Dallas get a third and fourth guy involved. And for that run, it was the third and fourth guy. It was Lively, it was P.J. Washington. But they quickly realized that and put the clamps on both of them. That was the last you heard of them. And put the pressure back on Kyrie and Luka, and you saw Kyrie start pressing. Now all of a sudden he's taking double step back threes over Al Horford that weren't going in. Everything became difficult. And Luka crying to the officials, man, he probably should have fouled out 4 or 5 plays earlier than that. He was committing bad fouls on the other end, frustration fouls. He was hooking guys. He was doing everything but playing defense because he was gassed. He had no energy. So because he didn't have the energy, he starts reaching and pulling and playing defense with his arms and hands. That's how he got in foul trouble. He wasn't beating guys off the dribbles. It was pump fake, pump fake, pump fake, offensive foul. He sticks his arm out, shoving guys. And, dude, you play 40 minutes and you do that. Yeah, you do that 6 times, you're gone. He probably did it 46 times. They only called it 6. But, I mean, they put pressure on him, and that's what he did. He resulted into that, and I think he cost his team at the end. Once he fouled himself out, that was it. Kind of killed the momentum. So, hey, Celtics did their job. Dallas didn't do theirs. The better team won, the more skilled team, the more talented team. And should I say this? The well-coached team won the game. Oh,
there we go.
The team with the better coach is winning this series. I hate to do it to J. Kidd, but how many times is he going to fail with superstar players?
Man.
He failed with Giannis. He's failing with Luka. He failed with Jalen Brunson. How many times is he going to fail?
Failed with Garnett, Paul Pierce, right?
Yeah.
In that group too.
High expectations, failed again. So, yeah, he didn't adjust, and they ended up losing that game.
All right, we got to hear from Luka Doncic. Let's get some good stuff here. Here's Luka Doncic after the game.
Jake Fisher with Yahoo Sports. Luka, I know elephant hunting is a big part of your guys' offensive strategy. How does it feel from your perspective to kind of be that on Boston's side of things? And what kind of responsibility do you think you can take to improve in that area moving forward?
It's okay. Every time they draw it, basically call a foul. So I try to be better. So gotta get better.
Middle here.
Blake Elliott, 105.3 The Fan. Luka, just take us through, right here in the middle, just take us through your emotions when you foul out of the game and you see your team trying to fight back into it.
I mean, we had a good chance. We were close. Just didn't get it. I wish I was out there.
Any other questions for Luka? Got Tim right here, first row.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Luka, what did you think of the whistles that went against you in the fourth quarter?
I mean, I don't know. We couldn't play physical, so I don't know. I don't want to say nothing, but 6 foul in the NBA Finals, where basically I'm like this. Come on, man. Better than that.
you guys came out cooking in the first quarter. I think 25 points through like 7 minutes. What happened to make to bog down the offense? What happened to make scoring more difficult there?
I think we should just keep playing, with the same energy, keep the same people in. We were rolling down there, but then they came back. At some point we were down 21-2 in the fourth quarter, and we came back. So we're going to still believe till the end.
Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News. We know you've only fouled out 3 times in the NBA. Have you ever had 4 fouls called on you in that short of a span?
Sorry?
Do you ever recall having 4 fouls on you being called in that short of a span?
Not really. I don't think it never happened to me. I remember.
And what did you guys do right to turn around the game and pull off that 20-2 rally?
Just playing with pace. They didn't. We played good defense, and then we played with pace. Just driving, kicking, and that's how we got back to the game.
Tomer here on the left.
Tomer with Charlie with Clutch Points. Luka, you mentioned staying positive. I guess, again, scoring just seems to be a big issue for you guys. What outside of just staying positive can you guys do? Are you seeing the process that you want to offensively, or are there more things you need to see out there?
I think we got to figure out some things. We played 3 times against them now, so we're getting to know them. But I think being down 21 in third game and then came back, was really a positive thing for us.
Dan here on the left.
Dan Devine, Yahoo
All right, we'll
Sports
say bye to him there. The refs, I'm at home and I'm out of shape and I'm Luka Doncic. Sorry, Cerrone. Wow, cry baby. Cry me a river. Play some defense.
We weren't allowed to be physical. Stop it, dude. You're the only one. He was the only one that had more than 3 fouls on the whole team. It was no we. It was you reaching. Kyrie played 45 minutes and was as physical as he possibly could be, only had 3 fouls. Dude, you was out there flopping, grabbing, and doing everything else. He was the only one in foul trouble. Don't say we, the refs were against us. No, man, that was you committing fouls 50 feet away from the basket because you're mad you didn't get a call on the other end. That was on you. Stop. And the Mavericks shot more free throws than the Celtics. Like, dude, what are you talking about? That's on you. You play bad defense. You fouled out because a team is challenging you and they're attacking you, and you have no choice but to reach and grab or getting away, and hopefully they call you call them for a charge, and you're getting picked on. Now, I tell you what's going to happen going into the next season. Guess how teams are going to play Luka every day? They are going to go at him and pick on him because they see it's a clear weakness. It was no thing against Dallas, dude. It was you. You the only one out there fouling. Just you. Ridiculous. Don't sit there and cry like that.
I will tell you this, though, people get on. If you want to be critical of the way Jayson Tatum talks to officials, have at it. But have you noticed the shift in this final? He's not doing it. That one time, I think he did get fouled, and I even agreed. But besides that, I really haven't seen him complaining.
No, he had a dunk earlier in the game where they showed the replay, and the dude clearly slapped his arm. And Doris started laughing. And it was like, oh, but Tatum didn't do anything. He didn't even fan his hand. But people always say Tatum complains and cries to the refs. And I kept saying over and over again, no, wait till you watch Luka. Wait till you watch Jokic. He's another one that does it a lot. And Edwards. They cry on every single miss. They even cry on plays where they get the whistle. And he was doing that again tonight. And he said something smart after he fouled out at the end. And he was going off. And I don't know, Davis, more power to him. He showed restraint again like he did against Murray earlier in the year. He didn't give him a T, but there hadn't been any Texas whole series, actually. But that's what Luka does. He whines and cries and complains. And I think he's going to be looking for that in Game 4, and I expect the Celtics to take full advantage of him complaining and not getting back on defense in Game 4.
I'm Luka, and I fouled out. I have more foul outs than NBA Finals wins. All right, I'll stop. Baby Joe.
Hey, man, look, that's some grade A whining right there, man. I mean, It's funny. The dude, he'd be like, he acts like he can't speak English, but then when he gets in trouble, he's over there yelling like he's from Detroit. It's like, dude, wait a minute now. Come on, man. You don't try and put it in. When you lose, he sits up there and acts like he didn't understand anybody. But when he's winning, he got a lot to say and a lot to say to the fans and the crowd and everything else.
He loves to talk. And that Gobert one, I thought that was good. But yeah, now looking in hindsight,
Now it's
we couldn't play physical. Oh, we were at home tonight. Physical. We're down 2-0. They should have. Yes, you're with me, right?
No, I think one of the big takeaways watching this series, and I think Cerrone's mentioned it numerous times, is the referees have kind of let both teams play. It's been a pretty physical series from the start. There haven't been a ton of ticky-tack foul calls that we're used to in the NBA. So, yeah, it's just, I mean, you fouled out, man. It's the NBA Finals. The refs are doing everything in their power to make sure superstars don't foul out in these situations, and you fouled out. That's on you, not on the refs.
You fouled out. You fouled out. I'd be chanting that all day.
Listening or somebody out there is probably going to post it. I'll rewatch the game, and maybe I'll catch a screenshot of it and record it. But a couple plays before that, he went full Ronnie Lott on Jaylen Brown on a fast break and took his legs out.
Yep, took it out. Yep.
And I thought Brown got hurt on the play, and I thought he actually got hurt. I'm like, man, this dude just took his legs out because Tatum would have got a clear dunk. The refs called nothing on either guy. And Tatum caught the ball, and they had to run a play. And Derek, Holiday missed the three at the top of the key, took a bad shot. He should have been thrown out for that, and it should have been reviewed for a hard foul. But they never even looked at it. They didn't even show a replay on ABC. That was a clear foul, and it was a frustration foul. He was out there scrambling. So there was several times he probably should have been thrown out the game. He was pulling arms and grabbing shoulders and slapping guys on putback layups all night long. And they let him slide. And at the end, they just said, you know what? He's doing too much. And he started fouling guys 90 feet away during the inbound plays, and that's what got him in trouble. He's just making bad decisions. But, yeah, he got away with a lot, but there's only so much you're going to get away with. And all because he was so tired, he couldn't play defense, and they exposed him. So this is on you, dog. Don't say the team. This is you. You're the only one that couldn't play physical tonight.
The Celtics are up 3-0. It's the first time they've done that since 1959. So we'll see what happens on Friday night. I'm curious. I got the betting line for you, but I'm curious who the official is because you know who I'm going to bring up. We'll talk about that coming up on the other side. And we've been talking. People are on hold. They want to react to the game. We'll get right to the callers coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on better. Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
That Luka fell onto the ground there in an unacceptable position to put himself in with 4 minutes left with 5 fouls, and then immediately looks at the bench and says, you better bleeping challenge it, as if it's the bench's fault that he just made a terrible play. I'm standing here in the Mavericks tunnel. Over there is the Celtics tunnel. That's where the winners are. If Luka's ever going to be a winner coming out of this tunnel here, he is going to have to use this, what's happened in this finals, as a learning experience. His defensive performance is unacceptable. He is a hole on the court. The Celtics are attacking him. They are ahead in this series because they have attacked him defensively. And you've got a situation here where Luka is complaining about the officiating. They have begged him. They have talked with him. They have pleaded with him. He is costing his team because of how he treats the officials. He's a brilliant player. He does so many things well. They are here because of how he did. His performance in this game is unacceptable, and the reason why the Mavericks are not going to win. He's got to get over this. And the fact that he came out after the game and blamed the officials showed me he's nowhere close yet. So maybe over the summer, somebody will get to him, because nobody with the Mavericks or anybody else in his life has. And that's where the Mavericks are at this point. They're never going to get to this tunnel with the trophy if he doesn't improve those aspects of his game.
Whoa! Brian Windhorst, spicy. Did you hear that, Cerrone?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I mean, leave it to Brian Windhorst to stand between two tunnels and be like, yeah, if he wants to win, these guys are the winners. Yep. Wow.
Everybody's seen it. When everybody gets to, a lot of these teams, not saying Dallas is a small market, but they play in the Western Conference. A lot of people don't get to watch a lot of their games on TV, especially people in the East Coast where most of the world, the U.S. population is. They don't get to watch them. So all we see is the Sports Center highlights and all the cool plays on social media in slow motion with the cool music behind it. We see all the Luka stuff. But when you're sitting there and the whole world is watching you, everybody's coming home from Tom Brady's Hall of Fame, Patriot Hall of Fame moment. Everybody's watching you, and the whole world's like, this dude's a liability on defense. He's just an ISO man with the ball. He's Houston James Harden out here. He's either flopping, dribble. One play in the game. They inbound the ball to him. He walked it up. He didn't move until there was like 5 seconds left in the shot clock. He had the ball the entire possession. And then on defense, he just tried to stand in the way, and Tatum just went around him like he was painted on the court. And everybody's seeing that, and everybody's looking like, yo, this is embarrassing. And he just has to, he's not learning, he's not adjusting, and he's putting his team in a bad position. Shout out to Jay Williams again, who said a couple weeks ago, since Luka's been in the league, the Mavericks have a higher defensive rating every single season when he is off the court. When your team is better on defense, when you're not in the game, it's kind of hard for people to say you're the best player in the NBA if you're that much of a liability on defense. Everybody laughed at Jay Will for saying that. Now millions of people are watching this firsthand, and up and down social media, all you're reading is, man, this is one of the worst defenders I've seen. And it's been that way, but now everybody gets to see it, and he's being exposed for it. And I don't think there's anything you do about it now. I mean, he is who he is. You've hyped him up all these years now, but now it's too late. He's being exposed, and they have no shot at winning because of that.
Well, I have a famous saying, Cerrone, for people like this. I think I have to put Jason Kidd's already on the list, but I think I got to put Luka Doncic on the suspect list. He is suspect. Oh. All right, you guys have heard from us. Let's hear from you. 617-779-0985. We got Josh in California. Josh.
What's up, fellas? Good win tonight.
How you doing?
Doing all right. So, first of all, can you believe they called a foul on something that was a foul just because it's the NBA Finals? That guy complains way too much. I'm wondering if, everyone's been talking about Brad and what an amazing. I don't think people could talk enough about how amazing a job Brad's done. I'm wondering if this may be a template going forward because, college coaches to some degree are general managers as well. And just what you guys think about NBA franchises starting to look at really successful, smart college coaches and moving them into the GM position.
You know what? We can do that some other night, Cerrone, but it's something to ponder, right? Are there some guys that are coaches that maybe should go upstairs a little bit because they know their team and they also knew the college game a little bit? And listen, Hurley just turned down all that money. People might think it's the Lakers. It might be because he wants to three-peat and then maybe have another opportunity, but it's something to think about. Coaches from college maybe going upstairs. It's something we'll work on that one. But I like the call. It's a different take.
Yeah, it is. But one thing you gotta remember, the foundation for this whole thing was the ex-NBA executive Danny Ainge giving Brad 2 golden tickets.
True.
In Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum.
Yep.
To start with. And all he had to do was figure out a way. And Brad was their coach. So he knew what they needed around him. I got to find a way to get some more offense around these guys. I got to find a way to get some veteran defenders around these guys. And he tried to add this piece, that piece, whatever. But he had the building blocks. If you bring some guy in and you got 2 young all-NBA guys there, and all you got to do is put the right pieces around them, yes. But starting from the beginning is hard. I mean, I think the legwork and the real hard work of building this was what Danny Ainge did from the beginning. Even going back to drafting Marcus Smart, finding Robert Williams, finding Grant Williams, choosing Jaylen Brown when they said take other guys, choosing Jayson Tatum when the whole world said it was Lonzo Ball and Markelle Fultz and all those other guys. Sticking to your guns and picking the right guys was the key to this, and being able to build it without you actually tanking. You get assets and let people tank for you and build around it. And the only situation I can see close to that right now is OKC with Shea and Chet. They got young talent there, a ton of draft picks from other teams that are losing, but now you have to find a way to build those key pieces around them, and that's a hard thing to do. But Brad had a good foundation to start off with, but he made the right little moves around them that put them over. That's putting them over the top so far.
All right, we'll take over calls and then we'll get to the headline in a minute here. But let's talk to Benny in Oxford. Benny.
Hey, Joe, 3-0, maybe one more game.
Yeah, did you go to the watch party? You go to the watch party tonight?
No, I got game 4.
Okay, so you'll be at the next one then. All right. I was trying.
Yeah,
I know
the party.
If somebody's was there tonight, I'd like to hear about it. But yeah, here they are, man, holding another team under 100.
Oh man, I can't wait to be Friday night, man. I'm excited to stay ready squad, staying ready, going out there performing. The bench squad playing well. Xavier Tillman plays 12 minutes all postseason, comes out, has a great NBA Finals game 3. Talk about stepping up in a big spot.
Talk about Brad Stevens making a insurance move at the deadline, huh? They didn't have to make. Insane, they didn't have to make that move, but it was insurance, and they needed it tonight.
Between Brad and Joe, like when it's your year, all the buttons just seem to click, and everything's just clicking right, and every move you make just hits gold, and it's been perfect this year, man. I can't wait to go out there Friday.
All right, man. You call us Friday. We'll be on till 1 a.m., my man.
I'll be on. I'll be there. I'll call.
Thanks, Benny. Appreciate it. Benny's been with us every night, Cerrone. He's been. I feel like he's with us. You know what I mean? He's like, one more, man, one more. Like, yep. And I'm not trying to fail. I'm just the progression, the growth. It's just they see the top of the mountain. I can't keep saying it enough. Jaylen Brown, Tatum's always been the guy, has always been there. He has had his struggles. And Brown, we just talked about how low it was for him. Mm-hmm. And to now be here, it's coming together. All the right buttons.
Yeah.
It is now that time. They got one more win to go.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, they're keep going back to their ages. They're 26 and 27 years old. Guys aren't supposed to be this good, winning this much this early. They're locked up. Well, Tatum, I'm pretty sure, is going to be locked up for life after this. But they're one win away from a championship, one of the most dominant championship runs in recent NBA history, in modern history, really. They're dominating everybody. I think if they win Friday, they break the record for most consecutive road wins. They're doing everything right. One of the top offensive rating of all time, most 20-point wins of all time, dominant against the Western Conference. They're just rolling everybody. And I think one thing you got to look at, if they close this team out, which I believe they will this series, I don't know if it's going to be Friday or whatever, they close this team out, I don't know how people think all of a sudden it's just going to stop. That they're just going to stink next year and just go back to being the way they were. Now with that monkey off their back and nothing but confidence behind them, and now all them little roster spots that go to mid-level, low-level guys, there's going to be a lot of people calling Brad like, hey, man, you got any more of them green uniforms left? There's going to be a lot of good players that want to just come along for the ride, and that's what sustains you and turns you into a dynasty. But they have to close the series out, and I think they will. But I don't think this team – I don't believe this is a one-and-done situation. This is a great team with a great future, and all their key players are still in their 20s. This team that's a really good team, well put together, well coached, but let's just hope they get this win. I want to see them do it Friday and end it in a sweep. It'd be so a fitting way for them to end the season is on a sweep.
I watched the game with Skaz tonight, who wrote the recap on 98.5thesportsup.com. Skaz, what you got, bro?
Yeah, so we've been talking a lot of Luka and Jalen, obviously, in the postgame, but how about this one just came across my radar? Luka Doncic in the fourth quarter of the 2024 NBA Finals. So it's been 3 games, obviously cut a little short tonight, his fourth quarter. Luka has scored 8 points on 3 of 15 shooting, 20%, 0 for 4 from 3, with a 24% turnover rate. So Luka is averaging 2.7 points, 2 rebounds, and 1.7 assists in the fourth quarter of these games. Would that be your best player not showing up when it matters most?
Oh, yeah, I think that would be it. And people will tell you he's got nothing else and da-da-da-da-da-da, right? But
he has 8 points in the fourth quarter.
The expectations of people and star player, this is where I want to defend Luka. This guy's great, but he can only do it one way. If he does, and Lindhorst is right. If that dude played any defense at all or put his team in a better position, clearly they need more talent. But that guy has no-showed and worn down. And I've said it, Cerrone, you've been with me, man. Every series, right? They wear you down. It doesn't get enough credit. I think they're wearing him down late in games, too.
Yeah, and look, people say the Celtics got an easy break, an easy path to get here. If Kawhi Leonard doesn't get hurt in the first round, Dallas is losing in the first round. Because early in that series, they were going at Luka. His shooting percentages were bad. He was turning it over. He was really struggling. P.J. Washington came alive here or there. Kawhi goes down after game 2. All of a sudden, they got one less guy out there. And now Luka's out there hiding on – I can't think of the kid's name. He's got the braids on the Clippers. I can't think of his name, but he's hiding out on this guy. Now they got one less attacker out there. He's not defending James Harden. He's not defending Paul George. He's out there just chilling, and they was able to come back, win that series in 6 or whatever. Well, maintain their lead and win it in 6. If Kawhi Leonard's out there, and now it's a 3-headed monster with Kawhi, Paul George, and James Harden, Luka won't be able to hide, and I don't think they get out of the first round if Kawhi doesn't get hurt. They were really challenged by the Clippers. So you get to the next, he's hiding on Lou Dort against OKC. He's hiding against Kyle Anderson and McDaniels against Minnesota. He plays the Celtics. There's no hiding. He's getting exposed. He's worn out. He's frustrated. He's blaming the refs. And he doesn't look like top 3 material. Top 3 best players in the NBA, and you're the 400th best defender in the league? No, he's a great offensive player. He's one of the great players, fun to watch. But his impact is minimal when he can't play defense. Whatever he scores, he gives up on the other end. 8 points, Skaz, 8 points in 3 games. If that was Jayson Tatum, what we're talking about trading him halfway through the
for real
finals.
Listen, that needs to be highlighted. Granted, I know he doesn't have Kyrie. By the way, Kyrie Irving had a Kyrie performance tonight. He was great. Historically, he does great in game 3s, and when his team was down 0-2, he's done it before. So Kyrie, I think, did his job tonight. I really do. He showed up. That Luka Doncic stat, that thing needs to be on a newspaper. Right? Maybe we'll throw it at 98.5 the sports. Luka Doncic through 3 games, 8 points. You want to blame superstars? Who's better? I've heard the word pathetic. I've heard the word terrible when it comes to certain superstars on the Celtics. That guy's a planet player. 8 points. Imagine if that was anybody on the Celtics. Imagine. Yeah. And one more thing, Cerrone, I wanted to bring this up. I saw the betting line. The Celtics opened -1 for game 4. We haven't seen them yet But do you think we get the extender Scott Foster in a game 4?
I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think it's going to matter what ref is out there. I think the Celtics are riding really high right now. You saw glimpses of it in the third quarter where they were just feeling so good and smiling and having a good time. I don't think they turn that off in the fourth quarter. I think it goes to another level when they see that trophy sitting in the hallway. And I think the opposite is happening to Dallas. I think where was Derrick Jones Jr. tonight? You know what I'm saying? Exum had the one dunk. Where was all the role players tonight? They were nowhere to be found. There was no energy, no effort. Tim Hardaway Jr. looks like he's in prison.
We talked about that. We're like, whoa, it's Hardaway in the game. Who's this green character?
Yeah, they were just out there. I think half of these guys are checking out. They're seeing their stars complain. What happens if Kyrie and Luka don't play well in the beginning? What if they start off cold? What if the Celtics finally have one of those games where they hit 23-pointers? They're feeling good about themselves. They're playing with house money right now. They know they're going to win. They're going to beat this team. They're not going to lose 4 in a row. I see a situation very similar to Game 6 in 2008 when the Celtics beat the Lakers by like 40. I can see that situation if this thing goes off the rails early in the first quarter. And I think the Celtics are going to smoke these guys, man. I don't see the heart. I don't see no heart or no fire from this Dallas team heading into Game 4. Nothing they can build off of.
Yeah, and just to Cerrone's point, I mean, he's nailing it, but the Celtics are undefeated on the road this postseason. He talked about how they would be a perfect fitting to the end of this run. Sean Grandy, our very own, just tweeted, in their last 28 games, 28 road playoff games, this iteration of the Celtics are 21-7.
Wow, I knew that, yeah.
The new Big Three Celtics were 17-30. The original Big Three Celtics were 31-49, and the Bill Russell era Celtics were 40-38. So this is a historically great road playoff team. And yeah, what better way for them to win it than on the road in Dallas?
Perk said that after the game tonight. He said that the Celtics are on a historical postseason run. I mean, they haven't lost a game since May 9th. They've won how many road games in a row now? 9? I can't even remember. This is the record. This is a historical run.
If they win Friday, I think they break the all-time record for consecutive road wins for playoff teams.
And again, we're just telling you the truth. Like, this isn't a green team or pom-pom or anything like that. These are facts. Their defense is outstanding. They've been shooting the ball besides 25% from 3 last game. They're dominating on the road. They did have losses at home, but they've made up for some of those, you know? They just have been so complete. There is some audio, though, that I need you to hear, Cerrone, regarding some of the Joe Mazzulla tactics. We got to go to break. But, this is so great because I mentioned those clutch time minutes. 6-0. 6-0.
Yeah.
Again, you remember, you've been on here, right? The people who say that this style doesn't work, and it's just, I'm not trying to say, blah. I'm not blonde people. I'm just telling you, we've watched this all year, and it's just exactly what we said.
And real quick, how many times we say on here they had the fewest amount of blown fourth quarter leads in the NBA?
Yep.
The fewest. They were the best fourth quarter team in the league all year. And it's like, wow, they really can close. Yes, you don't win 64 games without being able to close fourth quarters. I'm sorry. They're a dominant team. And I see KG and Paul on their podcast say before the game today, they were like, if they sweep Dallas with Luka being one MVP favorites and Kyrie Irving, you have to start looking at this team in a historical way and saying they're one of the great champions of all time if they pull off a sweep in the NBA Finals against this Dallas Mavericks team.
All right, Cerrone Battles here, Skaz, as well. I'm Joe Murray. George helping us out. We got to get a quick headline and then more of your calls next.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics win 106-99, up 3-0 in the series, 30 points both by Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Friday night, Game 4, looking for the sweep. Of course, you can hear it right.
It's Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Before the game, your coach said to us, if you've been in a fight with someone and you think you're about to beat them, you usually get sucker punched. The closer you are to beating them, the closer you are to losing. Does he say that to you players on a regular basis, and how demonstrably does he say it? And what are you expecting from him the next couple of days going into Game 4?
Yeah, Joe does a great job of showing us clips and things from different sports, right? He's a big UFC fan, and, showing us fights of people that I don't know, like the terminology in UFC, but put them in a chokehold and like they're about to tap out, and you just see the guy or the woman who's winning relaxing because they feel like they're about to win, and then you give the other person life. Just trying to translate that to the game of basketball, that the closer you are to winning, the closer they are to surviving, and basically just trying to remind us in the group that we still got a long way to go. We still have to play the right way. We still got to win. That they're not going to quit. That we should expect the best from them.
Whatever works.
I mean, hey, it's working. They're responding to him. That's the best part. He's the one that puts them over the top and gets them a championship. Mazzulla deserves the credit. He deserves all the praise and should be treated like a championship coach in this city if they do pull this thing off.
One thing I wanted to mention, the team with the longest road winning streak in the NBA playoffs, the 94-95 Houston Rockets with Hakeem and Clyde Drexler, and that they swept Shaq in the Magic 4-0. I just looked up Game 4. Hakeem had a major monster game, but it was Robert Horry and Mario Elie and Sam Cassell were the ones that that helped out a poor 22, 15, and 8 for Clyde Drexler that night. So again, so just real quick to set it up, Cerrone and I will be back on Friday night. We'll be on the network at 7:30, and then Grady and Max take over at 8 o'clock, and we'll be with you until 1 a.m. And if there is a championship, we'll have extended coverage all night long on 98.5 The Sports Hub. So let's just take a couple of calls. I do want to know what it was like at the Garden tonight, Cerrone. Asher is in JP. What's up, man?
How's it going tonight, boys?
Good, man.
Yeah, that was electric at the game tonight. It felt, honestly, like it was the finals game.
Watch party, you mean?
Yes, that's right, at the Garden. There was at least 15,000 people there. It felt like it was at capacity. From the jump, when they were showing the broadcast of the national anthem on the Jumbotron, every time there was an opposing player on screen, there was thunderous boos, and every time we saw Horford or JT or Allen, whoever it was huge cheers, and I knew it was going to be legit from the go.
Thanks, Asher. Appreciate it. Glad to hear that.
Cool.
Einbein, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Joe. I've been on hold so long I forgot what I was going to talk about, so I just want to give a shout out to the YouTube chat family, and to say, Cerrone, you're awesome. I love you. You need to have a regular show on here. You're really good. Appreciate all your input. So that's all I got right now.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's Seth in Yarmouth. Hey, Seth.
Seth in Yarmouth. Thank you.
Hey, buddy.
I tend to take a macro view of what happened tonight. I think we saw some of the best basketball you'll ever see in your life. Okay? And we saw by the best basketball players in the world on the biggest stage. And I've been a Boston Celtics basketball fan 70 years. And this team, that's it, man, fits in with some of the best of them.
Thanks, man. And that's why I brought up the Houston Rockets, man. I know Hakeem was obviously, right, Hall of Famers. Hakeem. But here you got two Hall of Famers here, right? And the other guys who started, I don't want to compare the teams. Rudy Tomjanovich and Joe Mazzulla, completely two different men. But as far as longest winning streaks, I wanted to do that. So I know we got just about 30 seconds or more to go. Cerrone, anything else? Game 4, Mazzino, George Sepulveda, and of course, Cerrone battle will be on tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. One game away here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub.